gratified to have Mr. Kaustav Biswas over here, who is a researcher and developer at Automobile Research and Development wing of Mercedes-Benz India, and he is our alumni. So we feel really proud of that because he has graduated with the Bachelor of Technology in Electrical Engineering from our very own halls of Ivy. So courtesies to all the connoisseurs to embrace the imperial insignia. I hope you will all enjoy this Twilight Conclave. So yes, sir, I implore upon you to please start your lecture. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Yeah, Twilight Conclave is a nice name. Thank you. So yeah, hello everyone. So I'm Kaustav, and yeah, I passed out from our college basically from in 2015. I was a graduate in electrical engineering. So out of all the attendees here, maybe if you can also say from which background you are, that would be also nice. Maybe I don't know if there is access to meeting chat only, but okay, no problem.
Yes. You do have access to the meeting chat. So yes, you can write over there also.
Okay, no problem. Yeah. So thank you for having me for this talk. So basically, I was thinking about what to talk about. So then I came upon this like one of the unique things about my industry is there is a lot of opportunity that is just coming up for people from various streams. The general notion that the automobile industry is mainly reserved for mechanical engineers only, that notion has become a thing of the past now. That is why I wanted to bring this topic up today. So yeah, we'll get into that eventually. So let me first tell you where I have worked and what I have worked on. So basically, after graduating in 2015, I joined L&T Construction. So that was my campus job that I got. So yeah, I was working in New Delhi, and my project was in high voltage equipment construction, commissioning, design in the for the Delhi Metro. So people who have traveled in Delhi Metro Railway may have seen new lines are being commissioned there, and so yeah, so it was a nice, challenging job, I would say. There, I got to see, how the industry works, how people work in the industry. It was my first time there, and also a construction job or a construction field itself is a very challenging kind of a job. It is very mentally and physically challenging. So it was a nice experience in the beginning. So I got to work with industrial grade hardware and industrial processes basically. So it was a beginning, but again I realized that maybe all of it is not for me, and such kind of realizations come, and such kind of realizations are important. So basically that is why I moved to the automotive industry, because I always had an interest in the automotive industry. I don't know how many of you know or how many of you are involved with the college Baha team. So that was something that in our year we had qualified for the first time. So anyone here who knows about or is involved in the team currently? The SAE Baha team, who builds an off-road vehicle for competition.
Yes, of course, sir. It's obviously a grand team of our college, and we really feel blessed to have such kind of enthusiasts who always inspire us. And automobiles and Mercedes, especially, it's a craze for everyone these days. So it's obviously an insignia of imperiality. So yeah, the Bahais itself themselves a royalty in our college, and the way they are advancing towards the future, it's really enthusiastic. So Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know about royalty and all of this. Like, leave Mercedes-Benz behind. At that time, when we were actually, working hard towards setting up the Baha team. At that time, I remember, like, it was basically a struggle getting to, convince people, get funding for that from the college side, get sponsors for the project, and the engineering was itself the more interesting part. We were all very interested in building the vehicle at least. So therefore that did not come as, like, a tiring work, but what was tiring was all the other things, the commercial part of it. But yeah, it was a nice experience. It was also my first glimpse into the automotive industry. I Industry, I am saying, because the competition itself is made in such a way that it is kind of oriented towards what is needed from the industrial perspective. It is not only about engineering or building a vehicle. It is about making a business case for the vehicle. It is also, during the process, you face problems, you learn team building, you learn resilience. So all of these things are there. So that is why I would say it was my first sneak peek into industry, in the automotive industry itself. So yeah, after that, our processes in college, after we get one so-called core job, we are not allowed for another one. I don't know if it's changed now. Anyway, so that is why I went into this power distribution construction field. Yeah, that job had its advantages and also disadvantages. And yeah, after a time, basically, I was tired and I wanted to move to a different industry. So I moved to Maruti Suzuki India Limited. So basically there, what happened is, I hope Maruti recruits from the college still now. I do not know, but during my time, it was purely mechanical guys that they were recruiting, and not from electrical. I was surprised to know that there are many colleges, colleges which are like the so-called tier three colleges, from where electrical engineers are also recruited. And it is only there that I learned about the requirement for electrical, electronics, computer science, IT people, all of these people, besides, of course, mechanical, also metallurgical people, chemical engineering people. Uh, how everything comes together in the automotive industry as a whole. It is not only a mechanical based profession. And as I have progressed through the time there, I entered Maruti in 2017 after 2 years at L&T, and then I entered Mercedes last year in 2021. So during those 4 years, I could see the pace of technology, how it changed, how it became more inclusive, the field itself. So that is what I'm basing today's talk on. So basically, after 4 years at Maruti Suzuki, I joined Mercedes. Here, I am again a relatively new employee, but it has been like 10 months basically now. It's going to be 1 year very soon. And here also, there is a different kind of, it's a different kind of business, but also in the automotive industry. So that is about me. So personally, I am still in touch with the electrical engineering topics that I learned in college, but also the general notion. Sometimes people say that you learn something in college, you never apply it. That is completely false in my case. I apply the notions I learned in my second year, in my third year, in my final year. Final year maybe a little less, but second year, third year, whatever I learned, I apply them every day, and I feel myself very privileged to be. That is one of the perks of working in a multidisciplinary industrial setup, also working in industrial R&D. That is what I feel is the, uh, you know, one of the advantages of working here. So my previous job was also in R&D itself, in research and development. So basically, industrial research and development. If I guess everyone is the audience is made up of only students, or do we have people from other backgrounds also, Lisa?
People from all the backgrounds, all the
Oh,
backgrounds.
oh,
Yes, most of them were students, but
oh,
it's multidisciplinary.
yeah, yeah. So, like, for the students here, basically industrial R&D is like maybe you are working on certain projects in college, maybe you're working in certain internships from college. So you may have gotten a glimpse of it here and there. Industrial R&D is fast paced. The main difference would be a lot of funding is available here. That is the main difference from academic R&D. I have also been involved in a little bit of academic R&D during my time, like with my internships and everything. So yeah, that is the more important difference. So basically, uh, in the automobile field. Currently, for the shift in my thinking that this field is applicable to a wider audience, to a wider it can accommodate many skill sets, came when I started working at my previous job. There we were setting up the basic infrastructure for electric mobility. That is when they were just setting out for developing the kind of backbone that is required for starting the development, starting the they were in the research phase at that time, they were not at the development phase. So it provided me a very good deal of knowledge about how people are approaching the problem, what are the general issues associated with it. For example, we all know that if you are following some EV news, for example, at my time in college, it was very rare because at that time, and I'm saying it in such a way like I have passed out much long ago, but it isn't like that. It has just been like 7 years. I'm also relatively new in the industry, but the pace of development or disruption that we call it has been so fast that I am forced to speak like in our times, it's a generation apart. So that is the magnitude of it. So like at that time there was not so much craze regarding EVs and electric mobility, so it was just some experimental technology that people played around with. And yeah, after that I have seen during my last 4 years at my previous company how it picked up, how people's interest has peaked, how people build proofs of concepts, right? What was generally in the concept stage, people took it into on the road, people took it on production. The Tesla that we know today, right? The mega brand that is associated with Tesla. Whenever we talk about electric mobility, we are always talking about Tesla. So yeah, that Tesla started like two guys who just took a Lotus Elise chassis and they put some camcorder, thousands of camcorder cells and made a battery pack and built a nice electric vehicle. So it was a nice story. But yeah, from that time we have progressed a lot. Now things are standardized, now things are streamlined, companies have big budget allocations, they have big timelines placed and everything. But yeah, when I was starting my previous job, they were doing it for the Indian use case for the first time, and there were certain challenges that we went through, the certain challenges which you might know about today. For example, the range anxiety issue, like with the petrol and diesel vehicles, it is just like what is the mileage we get, and we calculate our cost of ownership based on that. For electric vehicles, it's always range. How much can I go in one charge before I cannot find a charging station? Once again, I get stuck. So all of these things. So how is the cost affected by it? So it was also a big learning in marketing, for example, how a certain cost of a vehicle is rationalized and how a certain cost of a vehicle is not rationalized for a particular customer segment. So that is also a big learning. So I went on test drives, I went on various test drives in various areas of India. There you could understand the performance of the vehicle. So the coming together of various streams or various trades, various fields of engineering, it came to me when, for example, I saw that there was a requirement for my specific knowledge that I learned in college, my electrical knowledge into the system. There was a motor present suddenly in place of the internal combustion engine. I did not know much about the IC engine. I had a basic knowledge, of course, not a professional knowledge regarding it. So suddenly I found that there was a motor, which is like, an interesting thing for me to work with. There is a battery pack. There is a, a whole electrical system that is present in the vehicle, and this system was a mystery for the mainstream mechanical people that who were present there. So yeah, we found a place to contribute. But this does not mean that the vehicle ceases to be the automobile. Sorry, I'm getting a echo. I think it's
Eco.
okay. No, I think it's okay. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, yeah, like that is when I learned that like there is a coming together or a confluence of things on this piece of machinery. Okay. Uh, then I got introduced to software, and that was also my first time going into software. I had not worked with software before. Yes, software at that time meant building robots and everything because I'm not from computer science. But yes, of course, we saw how important software is. So software, it's a good story, to see how the use of software has scaled. It is like two industries colliding against each other. These used to be separate industries. The automobile industry used to be a very separate and old fashioned kind of an industry in the past. Like past again means like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it used to be different. Now software is everywhere. The software has percolated into every level, and we cannot work with software. There is a term in our industry which is known as software defined vehicle. We define the functions on software only. There is no more, like, that is why I referred to Baha. In the Baha, what we had was a very basic engine. There was no software in the car. There was no concept of any software in the car. There was a simple cable that ran through to the engine. We used to press the accelerator pedal, valve used to open, fuel injection used to happen, and the car used to run. Yeah, it was as simple as that. You press it more, the valve would open. In the past, mainstream vehicles used to work like that. They had no electronic, no software defined systems present inside them. Modern vehicles are not like that. If we talk about braking system also, even in our basic cars that we have today, not premium or luxury cars that we have, there are still very mechanical braking systems. You press the brake, a master cylinder moves, a fluid moves, there is a brake caliper present, there is a brake disc or a brake drum present, and there is friction, the vehicle stops, okay, or the vehicle decelerates. So now this mechanical linkage with the human being is being reduced. Okay, there are many safety systems that are coming in place, that are coming in between the human and the equipment that is being controlled. So control systems are taking care between, if you place something between a human being, a human action, and the actual component that is being controlled, you need some form of intelligence, and that intelligence is software. You have electronic control units, we have our ECUs. Yeah, if you don't understand the term ECU, it's just a microcontroller board. If you worked with Arduino, all right, I remember I used to work with Arduino in college. So it's kind of like that. It has several sensor and actuator interfaces. It has a main microcontroller present, and everything happens through that. When you press the accelerator pedal of your vehicle, you are not exactly directly linked to the engine. Your action is not doing that. You are sending a signal to it, through it, to that main microcontroller. That microcontroller is then again forwarding it, and this safety system will not let you will try to prevent you from committing errors if you are actually trying to have a um, if you are actually going to even commit a error that will lead to an accident. There are so many safety systems, like uh, even in the braking scenario, there is ABS, there is ESP. Okay, and with the electric mobility coming in, we have the control for the motor controller, we have the battery management system. All of these are sophisticated electronic control units. All of these need to be coded, and all of these need to be tested. So there is a huge demand for software developers who can actually write code, who can build models. For example, there is also the model based scenario going on. All of the code is not handwritten. There are developers who develop models, and from that code is auto generated. So all of those skills are becoming increasingly more and more important in the automotive industry. And what is happening is basically these things came as a disruption. So if you understand disruption, it means that, like, disruption was not a thing in our core industries, so-called core industries, industries that were previously, controlled by the people from streams, like older streams, not from computer science. So disruption was not a thing for this industry. Disruption was a thing of the software industry. Technologies used to change in a matter of half a decade. Technologies used to become obsolete in 7 8 years, and then they were replaced by another new technology. So this kind of disruption was unseen. Today it is a reality. Today every one of us accepts it in our industry also, that yeah, there is a chance that technology and everything might get obsolete. But yeah, there are ways to tackle how things like that work. Anyways, so basically the point of the matter is, opportunities in this industry are many. are many for many engineers, and somehow uh, due to the a little bit of a disconnect, I would say, between industry and academia, that is a sad reality of our society. These things may not be known properly to students like you. Okay, you might still be of the opinion that the automotive industry is an industry for mechanical engineers. If you are interested in, let us say, if you are an electronic student or a computer science student who is interested now in building an autonomous robot, for example, you have gone to maybe a competition, you have won an award at a fest for a line follower robot, let us say. Is there an application for your skill, for your coding skill in the automotive industry? There is a huge application, and it is one of the most, hottest areas. It's the field of autonomous mobility. It's the field of autonomous driving. There are so many sensors that are placed around the car. The car is expected now to assist the driver in driving itself. Like, if the driver is wants to relieve himself by removing his hand from the wheels, from the steering wheel, or removing his legs from the pedals, the driver can do so, and the vehicle will take care to remain stable. The vehicle will take care not to get into an accident. Our present vehicles don't do that, but this is a very upcoming field. Uh, this requires more computer science people, more image processing people, more computer vision people to come. People who understand sensor fusion, they have to come together and they have to solve this problem. Also, people who can work with big data and analytics, for example, it is very important for them to come and solve. We are not talking about Facebook level large server rooms that exist somewhere, data centers that can store huge amounts of data and carry on analysis in the back end. We are talking about a car which has a limited amount of space for a computer, a limited amount of memory that can be included there, limited amount of processing power. It cannot also get heated that much. The cost also has to be kept normal. And then you have to have all of these capabilities. It should be able to sense the surroundings all around itself. It should be able to take decisions based on it. It should also, like, the target of this technology is that in the future it should be able to drive on its own, and you would not need even to sit facing the windshield. You can sit on it like a little room facing each other, like you sit in an auto without a driver. Very bad example, I know. So yeah, so like that, it would be able to drive around. It would be able to communicate with other vehicles. Okay, if you are interested in communication technologies, so that is where your skill is required. There has to be a protocol developed for communicating from vehicle to vehicle, or from vehicle to your fixed entities. A vehicle has to, like, one of the solutions for traffic is suggested as this. It might be very futuristic, but again, in R&D, technologies of the future are what we work in. We work on technologies that would come 10, 15, 20 years later. Okay, and these are some of the applications. We have such bad traffic jams. So people say that if a vehicle is able to communicate with another vehicle, they would coordinate their movements in such a way that these things won't happen. So just think about the complexity of the problem that needs to be solved. There are 10 vehicles at a junction from all the four directions, and you need to prevent a gridlock. So how does one vehicle communicate with another vehicle and prioritize the movement of it? It is such a nice problem for people who are interested in all these software can solve. From the electric mobility side also, like, what kind of motors do you use? What kind of battery pack do you use? You cannot just define a motor or a battery pack for today. Okay, you have to define it for the next 20 years, because business is like that. Like, if you define one for today, you won't be able to scale it to tomorrow if there is some problems with even the supply chain. For example, if there is like battery materials, they come from China, right? Mainly the materials for our motors, they come from China mainly. So what happens when China does not want to send us those materials, or they hike the prices in such a way that it goes out and becomes unsustainable? So you have to be present there to provide an alternative technology and develop something in the back end in order to tackle this prospective problem that might come, or this imminent problem that is going to come in the future. You have to decide what the ratings types of the motor should be: induction motor, synchronous machine, DC machine. Then what the type of the battery has to be. There is a huge research scope in battery technology, and battery technology, I would say, is again an interdisciplinary field in itself, because it needs the contributions of material scientists more than anyone to develop the chemistries of the cells. It needs uh, the contributions of physicists and chemists and everyone. And it will also need the contribution of mechanical engineers at a big level to build the battery pack itself, because the battery pack being a very sensitive component, if you are involved in a crash, or if you are if you keep damaging it and it is not able to hold properly, then the entire reason for the vehicle fails. So that is why it is also it is not that the work of the mechanical engineers reduce when we go from a conventional petrol or diesel vehicle to an electric vehicle. The work of the mechanical engineers kind of changes a little bit. The field of internal combustion engines is going to be on a decline, and we have to be able to accept it. There is a proposal of introducing hydrogen based internal combustion engine instead of petrol or diesel based, but then it is still at a proposal stage and not that much, people are not favoring it. There are also certain political factors that are in play, upon which technology gets implemented and which dies out. So all of these things need to be taken care of. So as if I come to you all as students and you want to build a career in this industry and you belong from various backgrounds, so what can you exactly do regarding that right now? See, developing knowledge is something, reading books, developing concepts, that you have to do anyways. Okay, that is basically your job right now. That is what you have to do. So that aside, the things that you need to do is you need to understand disruption. You need to understand what it means. Okay, if you have done many internships, or you have worked in software industries in the past, or you have actually seen the journey of the software industry, you would know what I'm talking about. Or if you have relatives and friends and seniors who are working in the software industry, you can ask them about their journey, how technology has changed, and you would see how fast it changes. And that speed is only increasing, and it is scary at times to see that if I train for so many years, let us say 5 years or 6 years in one technology, and that becomes obsolete, how do I handle it? Like, if you look at it that way, then it's very scary. But there is another way to look at it. So basically, disruption also presents opportunities, and that is how you have to handle it, right? Disruption presents you, like, because it may be new for a lot of people also. Like, it is new for you, that's all right, but it is new for a lot of people. So it doesn't mean that your skills are useless. If you want to handle disruption, you have to understand that, um, let us talk about programming languages as an example. Let us say language X. Okay, X is a programming language, Y is another programming language. Let us say language X, and you in college, let us say you came across this language and you fell in love with this language. Now you are working on it day and night. Okay, you learn only one language in college. Okay, and then you go into the industry, you find your dream job based on this language itself, this programming language, and you're very happy. Suddenly after 5 years, your client says that we are phasing out this language and we are going to have language Y in place. So now, like, if you have an artist's mentality here and you say that this is my art, this language is my art, and I have worshipped this for so many years and I'm not going to shift, so yeah, then it is very difficult for you at that time. So you have to be a bit more pragmatic. You have to have a practical mindset. You have to say that language X and language Y, you have to understand that these languages are similar, and maybe the since you learned language X so well, you have learned the underlying concepts behind them, and therefore you can shift that learning to language Y. This is known as agility. You have to be very agile. You have to accept change, and that is very important. If you work in this kind of an industry, if in the software industry, or like today in the automotive industry, if you work, so you have to be very accepting of change. You cannot resist change and say that I'm going to form a union and I'm going to protest this. This is not going to work. Like in the long term, this is not a right attitude. So that is something that you should learn in college right now. You should be able to you should be able to develop knowledge in such a way that no matter today if you love one of the streams and try to specialize your skills in that, but still the basics should be okay. The basics should be strong so that tomorrow if your specialization is not favored by the industry, you can quickly shift to another one. This quick shifting is very important. It is also important when you are, for example, not happy in one industry and you want to shift to another industry. It should not be like you are once again going back to zero and restarting everything. Okay, you should be able to get some learnings or some things out of your previous experience and apply it to the new ones. In college, you should also develop this habit of taking up new things, taking up new projects, taking up new challenges. Ask people what problem are you trying to solve, and then maybe think about a solution. Just thinking about it is the important step. If you think that this is none of my business, then it is not the right mentality. That is what I want to say. Another thing you can do in college is you should learn how to network with people. Okay, if your networking skills are poor, I know it might seem a little bit unfair. I used to think in this way. That is why I'm telling. When I was in college, I used to think that this is all junk. I just need to learn, how to. I just need to learn my technology. I just need to learn what I am supposed to learn from books and projects and everything. But I will be technical. If people need me, people will contact me. I will not give efforts to contact people, or give efforts to uh, build up relationships and everything. So you would not realize now maybe, but this is one of the most important skills that you need to have. You need to know how to network. You need to know how to talk to people, how to find out the right people, and how to convince them of your objective. What is your objective? Like in the first years of your job, you have no objective. You are just there to learn. You are a trainee at that time, but still you should be professional and you should find the right people out. You should be like, even to find people, you have to find people. Right? Like it's a friend of a friend kind of a scenario. Like you want to reach someone and you have to find your way through it. So in college, basically you have all these clubs and everything. They present a very good opportunity. Like if you have seniors or friends who are doing MBA, for example, you would see that this is kind of a mandatory activity for them. They are given great credit in their own interviews when these things are highlighted in their resumes. Why is this done? Because it is it's a sandbox. Your college life is like a sandbox. You are just there, and there you can develop this skill very well. If you can network, if you can talk to people and convince them that I'm trying to do this, will you join me? This skill is invaluable in industry. You will get so much value out of it that you cannot believe. You will get years of advantage. You will progress years faster than your own compatriots. Basically, that is what I want to say. So develop this skill once again, irrespective of the industry that you are trying to go to. This skill is very important. And sometimes I know from my personal experience also, I would say that this seems a little bit less important when maybe you have found out something like some topic, some uh, concept, some project that you want to work very deeply upon, and you forget that there are other people around you. Okay, so that is also something. Okay, another thing in college which you can do is you have to keep an entrepreneurial mindset. Okay, it does not mean you have to start your own company right out of college. Okay, it may be in fashion these days, like we have to start a company anyways. We have to invent a problem and solve it. So that is never the good way in my opinion. Like, so the mindset is important. Like even if you don't start your own company, you should know how people do it. You should know the skills required in doing it. Why I'm saying this is, um, there will be time to time when you would need to pitch ideas to people. and this is related to the second point that I told you, you would need to convince people of your mission, that this is what I want to do. You need to be able to be a storyteller. There will be people from various backgrounds, right? When you go into industry, you would meet managers who you would feel that they don't know anything, like they have forgotten all their technicals, and they are just lecturing you on improving the font size or the font style of your presentations and everything. So yeah, they have a point, and that's a different point. It takes some time to realize that, but the thing is that you can start developing a storytelling attitude from college. Just search upon it if you want to understand better this point that I'm making. Like, you have to always be a good idea pitcher. You have to pitch ideas properly, no matter where you are. You are in a corporate old company kind of a setup, you are in government R&D, industrial R&D, you are developing your own company, then you have to do it anyway. So always try to develop this kind of thing. The SE Baha example I gave earlier was because that was one of the first times that I did the same thing to whatever, to the college administration itself. I and my teammates. So basically, we went to the professors. We asked them. We convinced them that, because it was the first time that we had qualified as a college. The earlier times, the teams had not qualified at that time, so they did not require funding basically at those times. So after qualification, you have to buy the engine from them, 40,000 rupees, like it used to cost then. I don't know what it costs now. So yeah, 40,000 was like an at that time, like during third year, it was unimaginable for us. Also, we thought, how are we going to do this? After that is just the engine, and then comes the entire bodywork that we have to do, the chassis, the roll cage that we call it, the wheels, the suspension, everything that we have to buy. Okay, and then we have to have a fabrication facility. We have to set up a facility somewhere where we can carry out where we can store the thing first of all, and then we can work on it. Excuse me. So all of those things we had to set up. We had to convince and talk to various people and get out of our comfort zone, and be nice to people and take their favors, and and build contacts basically. After that, we had to transport it to the place. We had to convince people to pool in money whenever it was required, and that uh, convincing also took some time. It took some skills. So basically, it is like a good competition. Like that, you would have many other competitions in college. So they give you a nice introduction on how to do these things. So the advice is, please get involved on those things if you are not, because those skills are very essential for ensuring your success in the industry, and this can be any industry. Okay, except, I would not say except, but to a lesser extent, if you're going into academia, if you're going for your masters and PhD and everything. But again, there, if you have these skills, they will again, especially the networking skills, they will again prove to be a big boost, right, for your career prospects. So basically, these are all the points that I wanted to bring forward. The various opportunities that are available, you can look them up. Almost all the new fields in software, all the new fields in electrical engineering, the people who are interested in power electronics, for example, they will find a large scope of application in automotive industry currently. The mechanical people will have a little bit of a different job profile, different from IC engines, but all the other areas remain the same. Okay, so that is all I would like to talk about today. So I'm open for questions if you have any.
Hi, Kaustav.
Hello.
Hi,
Yeah.
this is Ramesh from. I studied their masters in 1618,
Okay.
and currently I'm
Hello.
in Bangalore. Currently, I'm working in Bharat Electronics Limited in the radar field. So, what I felt ki this ADAS, that is Advanced Driver Assisting System, that is
Yes.
also used in Mercedes. I think they are using.
Yes. Yes.
So, I
Yes.
want little description. What is the means concepts, and what is the requirement they are expecting in these fields.
Okay. So ADAS systems, advanced driver assistance systems, these are like the precursor or like the predecessor they are going to be for complete autonomous systems. Okay. These systems will assist drivers. Like they won't be driving the vehicles completely, but they will be assisting drivers. A few examples I would give you. For example, we have, like you're working in radar, so we have radar in vehicles, and with radar we are going to sense the distance of the vehicle in front of us, okay, or what are the objects in front of us. We can use we can use it for adaptive cruise control, for example. Like let us say that I cruise control, you must be knowing, like in a highway, if I want to maintain a particular speed without keeping my feet on the accelerator pedal always, I want to remove my feet but I want to maintain the vehicle at a particular speed. So that is cruise control. Adaptive cruise control will go one step further, and it will say that if there is a vehicle in front of me and I want to keep following it at a particular, by keeping a particular distance, let us say 20 meters. I want, if it is slowing down, I would also slow down. If it's speeding up, I would also speed up to a limit, but I won't get so close that I would crash into it. Okay, so that kind of things would require the application of these kinds of sensors, LiDAR and radar. Okay. Also, we are having various cameras around the vehicle. So sometimes the driver today needs to be able to, depending on the size of vehicles, new drivers will scrape their vehicles here and there because they don't realize how big or how small their vehicle is. How, like if you are moving through tight spaces, you may accidentally bump into something. Okay, because generally it is difficult to have an idea for new drivers and also for old drivers at times to see what is actually behind, especially if the object is small or something. So maybe there will be a network of cameras all around your vehicle. Like there would be a front cameras, reverse parking cameras we have. Then there would be front cameras. There would be side cameras below your mirrors, below your side mirrors. There would be another set of cameras, maybe at the door, rear doors. And what they would do is they would stitch together the picture of the surrounding, and on your dashboard maybe you would have a display of the car from the top, and you would be able to see what are the various things around you, so that when you take a turn, when you do something, when you maneuver, you can be better aware of the situation. This is one of the ADAS features. Another feature would be lane assistance. There is a camera that would detect the lane markings on the road. In India, it's difficult to find lane markings on smaller roads, but on highways, yes. So basically, if you are deviating for or going out of a lane into the side lane, so what would happen is the system would beep or give you an alert that you are exiting the lane. Please keep in on the lane. So these are some of the ADAS features that are coming up. This is basically basic applications of the sensors, but not allowing the vehicle to take a corrective decision like acceleration or braking, not exactly allowing full autonomy, but just assisting the driver.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Petro.
Thank you. Any more questions do we have?
Yes, sir. We have a questions. This is from Shonak Dasgupta. He's from Department of Mechanical Engineering 2021 batch. So his first question is, as a working R&D professional in a leading automotive company, is there any input from the area service or built in from regional offices to R&D sector for betterment of the product?
Yes, of course. That is the entire objective of basically see when a car is designed or when a feature is designed. Let us say a car is a very big thing, but when if even a feature, for example, link it to the previous question, the ADAS system. Like I develop a technology in R&D. Let us say I develop this camera. I develop some image processing algorithms that can detect the lane, and I develop a mechanism to warn the driver if he is exiting the lane. What I would do is I would present some kind of a publication or some kind of a proof of concept of this idea to my management, to my, if you want to say regional office, if you want to say headquarters, whatever, it's just another place. So there people there they have market research teams. Every large company has market research teams. They do extensive market research and determine whether the feature in what form, up to what extent is required or not required for their customers, for the customers that they are trying to target. I would tell you a big difference between the two companies that I work with. So if you just look at the product portfolio, you would guess the target customers. So my previous company was a mass market company, companies from, let us say, where you and I would buy cars. My present company is a luxury vehicle company, so the customer, the target segment is completely different. So if I pitch the same idea to two different companies and they would react completely differently to it, there would be inputs always to R&D from marketing, from market research, from concept development teams, from pre-development teams, we call them, who would tell us this feature is required or not required, this feature has to be scaled to this much, cost of this feature has to be reduced in some way possible, suggest ways. So of course there would be this kind of interactions to us.
Okay. The next question is, in which segments does the company operate as of now, and who is the major competitor as far as R&D is connected? What is the market share the company is holding in these respective segments?
Okay, so if I'm talking about my present company, of course the older competition include BMW, Audi, all these luxury car makers of the past. Not of the past, of course, like all these luxury car makers that we have. Uh, of course, the newest competition is Tesla, and for everyone, Tesla is setting a very good benchmark, not only in R&D, not only in engineering, but in production systems and everything. So that is also a very great source of competition and also of inspiration. In the automotive industry, it is always, it's not like there is always rivalry. There is always learnings from. Also, you would find there are many cooperations from between or among these companies and everything. Market share would be different in different market scenarios. In China, in Europe, in the US, they would be different in different places. India is a very small market for my present company. For my past company, the situation was completely different. They were the market leaders with 50% market share. Here in the luxury segment, uh, it's always Mercedes or BMW that comes up on top, but the volumes or the numbers, sales numbers are very little, and yeah, the reasons are obvious. And on the global scale, yeah, in the luxury segment, in the so-called luxury segment, it is again these two companies, BMW and Mercedes, that are, leading currently. Some they swap positions first and second at times, and yeah, now Tesla is coming as a good competition, I would say.
Okay, so your third question is, what are some of the biggest challenges the company is facing in the country as far as R&D is connected?
As far as
R&D is concerned.
okay, as far as R&D is concerned, it is related to disruption. Basically, it stands out as of now that companies who are able to develop better software are getting ahead of the companies who are not able to develop it. So that is the general view right now. Also, companies who are able to develop their in-house components are uh, getting better secured. For example, if you see the current scenario where there may be supply chain disruptions due to various things, you may have also read about semiconductor shortage that has started happening post COVID. Companies last year, and even it is continuing this year, had to scale down productions. There is demand from the market. People are waiting for on their orders. There is a wait list of people who are waiting for their orders. They are not getting. There is demand. There is no supply, because the even if one semiconductor IC is missing from your vehicle, you cannot deliver the vehicle to your customer. Let us say one indicator lamp is not able to glow. It means the entire vehicle, no matter you have put everything inside it still cannot be delivered to the customer. Like if you are a customer, you will not take the delivery of the vehicle if even the indicator lamp is not glowing, right? So these kinds of things are happening due to the semiconductor shortage. Due to the semiconductor shortage, companies are not able to produce cars. So companies like Tesla, for example, who are very agile, they would develop their software in such a way that a different set of semiconductors may be required, or they can do with lesser number of semiconductors than possible. Like they have developed software for 5 years, some other companies have developed software for 5 years. Now they can react so fast to this shortage. Like in 2 or 3 months, they would react and change their entire software so that they can be adapted to a different semiconductor that they have. So in that way, they can react to scenarios which other larger companies find difficult to move into. These are the bigger challenges. Also, challenges in security and cybersecurity are coming as cars become more and more. smarter and connected to each other, there are chances in like the scenarios they show in movies and everything that yeah, there are real chances that there can be cybersecurity threats, because now the car itself is becoming like your phone. Like everything you do on your phone, uh, you send data to some servers, like maybe Facebook, maybe Google, then whatever you're doing, your data is getting stored in servers. Same thing in the vehicle. There is a lot of data that is transmitted by the vehicle to the backend servers. There is personal information of the vehicle, of the driving style, of where that vehicle has been, that may be transmitted to the backend server of the companies. If that server gets attacked, then the entire data of that customer is leaked. Okay. If the vehicle systems get attacked, now there are concepts of over-the-air updates or OTA, like we get on our phones, right? Our Android phones get updated. We suddenly receive a notification in the morning that download update. We download update, it gets updated. We don't have to visit a service center. In our cars, what happens even presently is people whenever there is rarely that kind of an update that comes, but whenever there is some kind of an update or bug fix, people have to companies have to initiate a recall. They get the cars back to the service station or to the company. They use a bootloader to flash a different kind of software. They download the different software, erase the memory of the ECUs, and download different software into that. Now there is a concept that is arising that remove all that thing. Your car would be connected to the network, just like we update your phone, we would be updating your car. So that is known as over the air updates. So what if someone corrupts the process from between? Cybersecurity therefore is like one of the biggest challenges. So yeah, these are some of the challenges. Basically, there are many, because that is all the work that goes on to solve the challenges.
So your next question is, uh, why EVs are so popular through though it's consuming electricity which is coming from the burning coal?
Yeah, this is a very good question. The way the electric vehicles are advertised is not correct. It is completely wrong. They say that the electric vehicles are coming and solving the problems of pollution. This is a very one-sided and one-sided view of the problem. And of course, electric vehicles are not going to solve the problem if the source of energy is not green. If the source of energy is not solar or wind or any other renewable sources, you are just shifting the pollution out of your cities. That is, yes, that's happening, but again, that does not solve any problem. You are shifting the problem from your cities. Instead of getting polluted, you are shifting them to your thermal power plants, which are emitting more pollutants right now. There is truth to the thing that the power plants would process the waste in a more professional way, let us say, in a safer way. So maybe the actual quantum of pollution, if you consider a full ICE vehicle scenario compared to a full EV scenario, maybe the actual quantum of pollution would be reduced, but it definitely does not solve the pollution problem. This thing has to be kept in mind. Also, there are things like the pollution is not only emissions. The pollution is uh, when the effect on the environment is when you are producing or manufacturing a component, battery manufacturing, manufacturing of motors using the rare earth materials, manufacturing of more and more of power electronics. If you are keeping there are concepts of putting solar panels on vehicles, manufacturing of solar panels, also solar panels manufacturing for increasing our renewable energy coverage. All of these will have their own effects on the environment. So yes, until you switch to a completely renewable scenario from the current coal-based scenario, uh, electric vehicles are not actually solving the problem of pollution. That is completely correct.
So your
Yeah.
next question is, what is the scope of radar in this field?
Okay. The scope of radar is, again, as I said, in autonomous driving or um, automated driver assistance systems kind of scenario, where they will detect objects and the distance from the car to that object, or how fast that object is coming towards you. Basically, whatever radar does everywhere, radar will do here, but radar is just a sensor. The system which is reacting on it is present, uh, is the master system that would detect what to do with this information. The radar will give you the information. The system which is in the back end, it would detect that now you need to brake, or now you can accelerate, now you need to take a turn, now you need to do this or that. So All of this system, it's a closed loop control system, and radar is the sensor here. The target is based on what the driver wants to do. So it's just that.
Okay, this is the final question. What kind of challenges you faced in the initial stages when you switched from academic learning to working field of R&D of Mercedes-Benz, and how is your experience in working with the R&D team?
Okay. As I said, academic R&D is a little bit different from industrial R&D. Um, Academic R&D is you can be a little more deeply involved in the subject, and for industrial scenarios, you have to maybe carry out other things rather than, I mean, could be some scheduled works that you have to do. There would be a workflow. There would be a strict target that you have to maintain. Okay, that you have to tackle always. That you have to keep delivering, and there would be times, since since it is a higher investment scenario, many people are there, there would be times that you would find yourself kind of disconnected from the subject that you entered, the subject that you love. Unless you are in some industry that is doing very basic research. Other than that, most of industrial R&D, you would be not directly and very deeply involved with the subject that you kind of have grown to love, let us say. You would revisit it from time to time, you would use it from time to time. It is like the difference between, let us say, pure mathematics and applied mathematics. We know the difference between them, right? So it is kind of that. The challenges regarding the challenges that I faced, yeah, I tried to present them as the points that I just told, what you as a college student should do. I did not do that. So yes, I faced challenges. I was poor at networking in the beginning. Now I have improved, not uh, of course not gotten any expertise out of it. I have improved in that process, and I have realized the importance of it, how important networking is, and how important trying to know the right people are, because people are everything. You can be an expert in technology, and yet still you may be a very unknown kind of a person everywhere, unless you know how to pitch your idea, how to sell your idea. So the knowledge of how to sell is also important. This is also one of the things that I felt was very difficult for me in the beginning. Like I used to have ideas, I used to have solutions to problems, but I was not able to pitch them correctly. I was not able to get to the right person to set the solution to. So all of those things are very important skills that need to be grown in college. The technical background should be there. The technical background is going to only help you, but this is the icing on the top that you need to always develop. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Can't thank you enough. It's really edifying as a session, because I hope that all the enthusiasts throughout the session have enjoyed. They have also asked the questions. It's really an interesting one. Now, from our side, we want to present a P-type requisition to you. So, apart from this regular twilight lectures and conflicts from our distinguished alumni like you, we have a special program which is known as STAMPS. It's short form is STAMP. It stands for Student Alumni Mentorship Program. So where alumni acts as mentors to the students who really wants to pursue something different in their careers, especially in the research fields and etc. So this scheme is open to all and is a sure way to boost the CV, as you must be knowing. And as well as enhancing the connection with the alumni and students. So it's our request, our heartfelt request to you, to be please a mentor of the Student Alumni Mentorship Program and guide the students as they strive to shine in their respective careers. And we also have a small gift, a little certificate. So Nasir, are you present? Please do present the certificate to sir. Oh, Minakshi is presenting. So, sir, this is a little gift from our side to yours.
Thank you.
We are really very much happy, delighted, glorified to have you, and we are requesting from the inner chords of our hearts to please a part of our students mentorship program.
Yeah.
It will really be a great value to us, and looking forward for your blessings. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you. It was a nice introduction, and the questions were also good. And yeah, you can send me a mail regarding of what you are planning and how I can help. I would be very happy and privileged to help. No, like there is no issue from my side, of course.
Thank you so much, sir. We are glad to be with you. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Doctor.
Thank you. Audience, don't leave. There is a short head stretching piece for you. So yes, sir. Uh, will you will be one to part of it. So it can be more enthusiasing for us also. May I present the piece? Okay, audience. Now this quiz program is exclusively for you. If you win, there is a gift, obviously from our side to yours. Maybe you can be a part of the stamp for the first time, the first stamp mentee. So my first question is, which German corporation is the owner of Mercedes-Benz? May I repeat? Which German corporation is the owner of Mercedes-Benz? The option goes as Porsche, BMW, Daimler. Answer? Anyone? Anyone, please? May I have the answer? I think no answer. So it's C. It's Daimler. The second question. The headquarters of Mercedes is located in which German city? Your options goes as Berlin, Munich, and Stuttgart. Audience, please.
Stuttgart.
Okay.
Stuttgart.
Yes, absolutely correct. What's your name?
Adam Chakraborty.
Yeah, please repeat.
Adam Chakraborty.
Arjun Chakravarti.
Ayom.
Oh,
SAYAM.
oh, Shayan Chakravarti. Shayan Chakravarti. Okay, congratulations. Okay, very good. The next question is, in which year Mercedes was officially founded? My options are 1916, 1926, 1936. Answers? Am I clear with the question and the options?
1926.
Exactly, very good. Congratulations. Uh, this fourth question. Most F1 vehicles produced by Mercedes are painted with which color? Is it black or red or silver? Hello guys. Answer please.
Silver.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so Shubham, you get 2 points. And here's the last question. What is the nickname of the iconic Mercedes AMG 300? The red peak, the silver wing, the blue ocean. Hello, may I have the answer, please? Hello. Yeah? Yes. Any answers? 5 seconds are left. 5, 4, 3.
Red pig.
Yes, the red pig. Oh, it's a tie. Oh God, it's a tie. Okay, Shyam and Shubham, congratulations to both of you. And I request to both of you to please send your email IDs to us. And yes, thank you so much, audience, for joining this beautiful session. God bless Humility. A very happy evening to all of you. Thank you. And Shyam and Shubham, you have to send your respective email IDs to Saisal, okay?
Okay, Didi.
Okay. Any problem, please contact us. You may send your email IDs now also. I think it would be the best option if you do so.
Where will we send?
In the chat box. Is chat box is accessible to you all?
No, from my end, it is not visible, Didi.
Oh, it's not visible. Then
Or me also?
Then okay. Okay, you do one thing. You note my email ID. You send your emails to my email ID. Okay. Uh, please note it. It's Lisa Shaha 91@gmail.com. Have you noted?
Yes.
Okay. Send your respective email IDs to this ID. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being so much spirited. Okay.